'Tis better to have had pizza and have already eaten it than to never have had pizza at all. A quote from the celebrated author and playwright Maud C. Rella. Hello, I'm your host Adam Johnson, and welcome to tonight's episode of Master Pizza Theater. What's on the menu for this evening? How about a deep dish serving of the haunted pizza? It was a dark and stormy night. The wind whistled through the trees, and thunder boomed through the woods. The Youngs were soaking wet from the rain and shivered with cold as they marched through the night. They had tried to take a shortcut on their way back from Pizza Island, but had gotten lost in the woods. Now it was nighttime. They were tired from their adventure, and they were looking for some place to sleep for the night. One of the Youngs stopped. "Look, everybody, there's a light up ahead." The Youngs hurried closer to the light and saw it was a candle. Suddenly, lightning filled the sky, and in the bright light, they saw that the candle was in the window of a large stone castle with cannons and towers, a moat filled with alligators, and a drawbridge over the moat. "I don't like the look of this place," said a Young, looking scared. "It's the best chance we've got of getting out of the cold," said another. So the Youngs crossed the drawbridge, careful not to look down at the hungry alligators swimming in the moat. The Youngs marched up to the door of the castle. Even though they were scared, one of the Youngs lifted their hand to knock on the big wooden door. But just before they knocked, the door creaked open slowly by itself. "I guess we must be allowed in," said one of the Youngs, shrugging their shoulders. So the Youngs tiptoed inside and looked around for the kind person who opened the door for them. But there was nobody there. "I guess the wind blew it open," said one of the Youngs, and they walked further inside the castle. The castle was pitch black inside, and the Youngs couldn't see anything. "Come on, everybody, let's hold hands so we won't get lost," said a Young. So the Youngs all held hands in one long line, so nobody would get lost in the dark, scary castle. The Young at the front of the line walked forward, with one hand on the wall, guiding the Youngs through the maze that was the big castle. "I don't know if this was a good idea," said one of the Youngs. "I mean, maybe we should turn back." Whoa! All of a sudden, the Young was gone. "It's like they've disappeared into thin air," said the other Youngs. When they counted, they realized a few Youngs were missing. "They must have fallen into trap doors," said a Young. "Be careful, everybody." Eventually, the Youngs saw a dull light ahead. "It's a room," said one of the Youngs. They got closer and closer and entered the room. It was a huge dining hall with the most fancy golden chandeliers, with wax candles dripping off them. There was a roaring fire in a fireplace, and the Youngs rushed over to it to dry themselves off and get warm. "I wonder who that is," said one of the Youngs, pointing to a huge painting over the fireplace. The painting was of a man with a white tie, black buttons, a tuxedo, and bats flying around him. "Who cares?" said one of the Youngs. "Look at the table." On the huge table, there were 10 big silver plates, each one with a big silver cover over it, so you couldn't see what was underneath. The Youngs looked around the room. There were 10 Youngs, not counting the ones who had mysteriously disappeared. "This seems a little too good to be true," said one of the Youngs. "I don't care if it's too good to be true. I'm starving after walking back from Pizza Island," said another Young. The Young pulled the lid off the plate, revealing a delicious slice of pizza, just waiting to be eaten. "Oh boy," said the Young, and lifted the pizza up to take a bite. All of a sudden, the lights turned on, shining bright, and a thundering voice filled the room. "Good evening, children." The children looked up to see the man from the painting, standing in the doorway, with bats flying all around him. They realized they could even see through him. "I hope you enjoy your meal," he said with a grin, revealing 2 sharp teeth. The young who was about to eat his pizza looked down. In the bright light, he could see the toppings on the pizza: spider webs, broccoli, earthworms, dog hairs, pieces of lint. "Ew, yuck," the young said, throwing the pizza down on the plate. The man slumped his shoulders and looked sad. "Yuck?" he said. "I was so excited to have guests in my lonely haunted castle. I tried to give you the best pizza I could find," he said, and his eyes welled up with tears. There, Mr. Vampire," said one of the youngs. The young tried to pat him on the shoulder to make him feel better, but the young's hand went right through the man. "I'm sure this is great pizza for vampires, but we're just kids." "What? What kind of delicious things do kids eat on their pizza?" asked the vampire. "Lizard tails? Swamp water? Mud globs?" "No, silly," said the youngs. "We like cheese and pepperoni and vegetables. Some of us even like pineapple," said a young. Well, then," said the vampire. "I'll see what I can do." So the youngs ate the most delicious pizza they'd had since Pizza Island. They had cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, vegetarian pizza. They even had Hawaiian pizza with pineapple and ham on top. As they were eating, their missing friends walked into the room. "Hey, what happened to you guys?" said the youngs. "We thought you fell down a trap door." "We did," said the missing youngs. "We fell down trapdoors and into the comfiest nap times you could imagine. We're so well rested. Could we have some pizza?" "You sure can," said the vampire, and put down 5 delicious slices of pizza in front of them. In the morning, the sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and the youngs were ready to make the journey back to Halifax Independence School. "Goodbye, children," said the vampire. "Good luck on your journey." The youngs turned around to say goodbye to him, but as they did, he vanished into thin air, and a swarm of bats flew through the air. Some say that on a Friday pizza day, if the wind is howling and the lightning cracks the sky, if you look outside HIS, you might just see a bat or 2 fly by, looking for a bite of some delicious earthworm pizza.